Story number 1. I think my husband is cheating on me with a new manager at his job. I noticed my husband change with me. He was being cold and lost interest in me, even in our sex life. I brought it up a couple times, and he tried to make me feel like I was crazy and making out things that he had a lot on his plate at work, and he was just tired. He took me to one of his work events, and everything was fine until this girl, who he has never mentioned, he talks about all his employees and managers, came to sit down at our table. He did not introduce me to her until 1 hour later, and it was very awkward, and she just gave me a bad vibe, but I didn't pay attention because I was focused on him. We all ate, and it was time for one of the big boss to give a speech. My husband was already kind of tipsy, and while his big boss was talking, he kept screaming his team's name and this girl out loud. I asked him if everything was okay, and he just gave me the look fuck off. After all that finished, he got up and went outside to get a drink, never came back for me. He left me for an entire hour at the table. I decided to go outside to look for him, and he was taking picture at the booth with everyone. But that was not the problem. The problem was he was beside her and almost close to her face. At this time, it was already almost 10 p.m., and I had to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. I asked him, "Can we please go home already?" And he got so upset he screamed at me in front of everyone and said, "You go." I left heartbroken and was waiting for him at the parking lot. I was texting him, "I'm waiting for you." I waited until 11 p.m., and he never came out. I went home to change and went back to get him. When I pick him up, his boss had to put him inside my car because he was so drunk he had vomit all over himself. I took him home. It was a very awful night. I went to bed until 2:30 a.m. I didn't even sleep. When it was time for me to get up to get ready, I had this feeling to check his work phone because he ghosted me at the party, and I didn't understand why he acted that way with me. I found out he was calling the girl while I was waiting for him at the parking lot. I found like more than 100 phone calls between each other and FaceTime. Text messages that doesn't have anything to do with work, and she doesn't even report to him, so there's no reason for them to be calling each other. Her texting him personal stuff. It felt like they are very much comfortable with each other, but at the table they acted like they didn't know each other. Red flag. My brother works with him, so I asked him if he knew this girl. My brother told me that there's rumors about them too, that they seen them together so much. When I confront him about the whole situation, he said she's new and she doesn't know shit, so he's teaching her. But I told him she doesn't report to you, so why are you teaching her? He stated that his boss asked him that favor, which I call it bullshit. He's into her, and maybe they've been flirting with each other. He keeps telling me I'm seeing things and building stories in my head, but I don't think so. I think he was on his way to cheat. He was trying to see what's up. Please, my Reddit people, advise me, what should I do? Or do you guys think I'm overthinking this shit too much? Story number 2. My husband cheated on me when I was 6 months pregnant back in October with a young coworker and filed for divorce in November. Will not admit that he did to this day and will not say a word about the girl. During that time, he only would check in once or twice a month to ask how the baby is doing. I left to go stay at my mom's to have the support from my family because of how awful he was treating me, causing me to lose a significant amount of weight, and I was worried my baby would not make it. He came to the hospital, which was court-ordered the day she was born, and brought his mom and sister. He never once said thank you, brought flowers, or anything regarding the fact that I just gave birth to our perfect baby that he missed out on, and did it all without the support from him while he was running around with his girlfriend. Not only that, but while I was 37 weeks pregnant, he was hounding me about moving my furniture out of the house. I'm sure to make room for his girlfriend, as her things were already somewhat moved in. I truly have a hard time believing I will ever get over such an act of betrayal. From the cheating, to expecting me to move heavy furniture while pregnant, the weight loss, disrespect, and so much more. He gets to see our daughter 3 times a week for 2 hours. Having to co-parent with such an awful person is the hardest thing I've had to do. All of this happened so fast. I have had a hard time processing what I have been through. I'm 6 weeks postpartum and still struggling heavily. I'm having such a hard time comprehending how a girl can be with a guy capable of doing such an awful thing while I carried and gave birth to our perfect baby. Her knowing about the situation and still taking part in it is disgusting also. The thought of this girl holding and kissing my baby and being around her makes me so sick to my stomach. Everyone at their job knows about what happened, and I feel embarrassed that I was cheated on at such a vulnerable time in my life. If anyone has been in a situation like this before or has any advice, I would greatly appreciate it.